Across the world, millions of people start their very first waking moments by ingesting a highly reactive chemical matrix. In its purest form, tea is dense with beneficial antioxidants, specifically polyphenols and flavonoids, compounds that actively repair cellular damage. Yet a 14-year longitudinal study tracking nearly 500,000 regular drinkers revealed a distinct pattern of physiological harm: chronic gastric acidity, severe dental staining, and critical mineral deficiencies. The discrepancy does not originate in the plant itself. The toxicity is a direct result of improper thermal extraction parameters and a failure to align consumption with human biological rhythms. We can reverse engineer this daily ritual, shifting tea from an acid-generating stimulant into a targeted pharmacological delivery system. Making a cup of tea is an act of biochemical engineering. How you prepare it dictates exactly how it interacts with your body. The first variable in this engineering process is the hardware, your brewing vessel. The standard aluminum pans found in many kitchens leach reactive metals under heat. The optimized baseline is a traditional brass vessel with an internal tin coating. Over hundreds of heating cycles, microscopic amounts of this tin safely dissolve into the liquid extract. In Ayurveda, this process yields Vang Basma, a compound used to directly supplement physical weakness. Once the hardware is set, we must strictly manage thermal exposure. Boiling tea leaves for 10 straight minutes aggressively breaks down the flavonoids you want to consume. This graph tracks the extraction rates over time and temperature. As heat crosses the prolonged boiling mark, beneficial flavonoids hit zero, while highly reactive tannins spike exponentially. As these tannins flood your system, they actively erode dental enamel and force the stomach into hypersecretion of digestive acids. This is the exact reason why tea from commercial roadside stalls causes instant acidity. The liquid is trapped in a continuous state of boiling, resulting in massive tannin accumulation. To extract the medicine without the poison, we decouple the process. You boil the water and any botanical additives first, letting them simmer until the total volume reduces by exactly half. The tea leaves are introduced only at the very end. You bring the liquid to a single, brief boil and immediately terminate the heat. Strictly limiting the thermal exposure time prevents the leaves from chemically degrading, locking in their baseline medicinal value. This matrix outlines using botanical additives to target specific physiological systems: vascular, gastrointestinal, and metabolic. In the vascular row, adding clove increases blood vessel elasticity, while arjana bark actively regulates high blood pressure and cholesterol. For gastrointestinal targets, thick fennel seeds buffer the stomach against acidity, and ginger optimizes digestion while providing pain relief. Finally, the metabolic row utilizes cinnamon for blood sugar regulation and green cardamom to suppress systemic inflammation. True vascular intervention requires the raw, dense texture of actual red arjuna bark, cleanly peeled from the tree and powdered at home. Tea has a naturally drying effect on human tissue. Adding licorice root or mulethi neutralizes this by actively moisturizing the lungs and internal organs. By selecting precise elements, your standard cup of tea becomes a customized pharmacological delivery system. The addition of milk introduces a conflict in the data. Modern clinical studies demonstrate that dairy slightly reduces the total antioxidant yield of the final brew. However, the Ayurvedic framework prioritizes milk for its specific lipid profile. These fats act as a biological buffer, coating the stomach to prevent internal dryness. The same logic applies to carbohydrate additives. Artificial chemical sweeteners and sulfur-processed sugars offer zero nutritional value and exhibit extremely poor cellular absorption. The optimized choice is unrefined desi kansari or pure jaggery powder. But combining raw jaggery blocks with boiling milk immediately breaks down the proteins, causing the liquid to curdle and triggering gastric distress. Correct lipid buffering combined with unrefined carbohydrates creates a biochemical shield. This ensures the body absorbs active compounds without triggering an inflammatory response. Even a perfectly engineered extraction will cause severe damage if consumed at the wrong point in your biological cycle. The first danger zone is the immediate waking window. After 8 hours of sleep, your cells are in a state of critical overnight dehydration. Forcing tea into a dry system accelerates that dehydration. It strips joint lubrication, degrades skin elasticity, and induces cognitive fog. It's pure hydration.
Drink a large glass of hot water first to clear the gastrointestinal tract and jumpstart your metabolism before introducing any complex compounds. The second critical error occurs immediately following a meal. This molecular model shows nutrient antagonism. Watch the large, jagged tannin molecules magnetically latch on to smaller essential minerals like iron and zinc. Once bound, this massive structure cannot pass through your intestinal barrier, and your body simply excretes the nutrients. The resulting physiological cascade is incredibly severe. A blocked calcium pathway leads to brittle bones. An iron deficit causes low hemoglobin, resulting in hypoxia and chronic fatigue, while a lack of zinc directly compromises your sexual health. The strict biological rule is to enforce a minimum 1-hour gap after any meal. If you require a digestive aid immediately, use buttermilk or a simple ginger infusion. Ingesting tea concurrently with your food mathematically nullifies the nutritional value of everything on your plate. The final chronobiological limit applies to post-sunset consumption. Even trace amounts of caffeine carry a 6-hour half-life. It prevents the onset of sleep and entirely dismantles the deep sleep architecture your cells require for nightly repair. This chart blocks danger zones in red. Safe green windows align with metabolic lulls, 11 a.m. and 3 to 5 p.m. The limit is strict, 3 small cups daily. Smaller cups provide mental satisfaction without overwhelming your systems. Furthermore, the massive study established a hard physical constraint. The liquid must be consumed below 55 degrees Celsius to prevent thermal destruction of esophageal tissue. By mathematically constraining the dose size, the fluid temperature, and the daily timing, you effectively disarm the toxicity of the beverage. Because tea is strictly prohibited at night, the body requires a separate mechanism for deep systemic repair. Clinical data points to pure Himalayan shilajit as the optimal nocturnal supplement. Sourced from high-altitude mineral deposits, it directly aids cellular density, heart health, and anti-aging, without the use of stimulants. To bypass chronobiological disruption, dissolve a small amount directly into a warm lipid base, like milk, immediately before sleep to guarantee maximum absorption. Of course, all of these extraction protocols are irrelevant if your raw materials are adulterated. Always run a simple filter paper test at home to verify the authenticity of your tea leaves before brewing. True mastery of your health does not require the elimination of cultural staples. It requires applying strict biochemical rigor to exactly how you extract and consume them.